In this week's task, we're going to be drawing an interesting fruit or vegetable. I've chosen, I had to look and see what was in my fridge, but I've got this massive field mushroom and I'll show you the photo in a minute. I've taken a photo of it so that I can zoom in. But inside, I don't know if you can see on the video, there are loads of these lovely lines, and I thought it would be a great way to investigate using pen as a drawing material. Okay, so what I did first of all was I took some photos of other things just to show you those. So what I've got here are, I've got a close-up view. That's an interesting fruit or vegetable because it's got the strawberry, it's got all these little indentations and seeds, so that would be a good one to draw. Then I also had a pomegranate in my fridge, so if you look at that, you can see the close-up of all the seeds. So that's a really nice one. And then the other one is the inside of a citrus fruit is really interesting because if you look close, you can see all of these little segments inside, little sort of like, it's the little sacs of the juice inside the actual orange, the orange or the lemon itself. So they've all got that in the middle. So that's another nice one. Other things could be something like the outside of a pineapple, or if you cut something like a cabbage in half, that's always really interesting as well. Just if you haven't got, interesting fruit or veg in the house, just Google it. Go on Google Images and just type in interesting fruit and vegetables and half of you could say half of a photograph of half of an orange, close-up view of a field mushroom. You'll get all of these on the internet anyway. Okay, so I'm going to start in pencil, and I'll get my photograph back first. Okay, so I'm not going to look at that first. I'm just going to actually look at this. I'm going to get it the same direction as the actual photo I've done. So I've cut my piece of paper into a square already because it is roughly a square shape. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to put it in front of me. And basically I'm looking at this top view. So it's what we call a plan view, which is an overhead view. So what I'm going to do first of all, so basically what we've got is we've got this sort of like, these aren't perfect circles. So the nice thing about this is it doesn't have to be perfectly exactly the same. All right, so I'm going to start off by sketching out roughly the shape of my mushroom so that I know it's going to fit. So I'm going to start at the top and just come around. I'm not going to be too precise about this because, as long as it's roughly the right shape, I want something that looks, we're getting the, what do we want to call it, the essence of this rather than it trying to make it look exactly the same. So I've got a rough approximation of how it looks. Then what I'm going to do, I'm just going to sort of like try to work out how much space my actual, this bit of the cream coloured bit that comes in. And it's more, from this side it looks more than from that side because it's closer to me. So what actually happens, I'm just going to sketch it out. I'm not going to put a load of detail in. It's got like an indentation there and then it comes up and around roughly. And then I've got this sort of shape, which is sort of there. And then I can see from the angle I'm at, I can see a little bit of the side of it as well. So it's something like that. And then if I look carefully, I'm going to go over it slightly darker. Now, I'm going to be honest here, I'm not doing this. I am sort of making it up, but I'm trying to get it to look something like it. See, it's got all these like little ridgy bits as we go around. And then I can see on the inside, there's like an inside lip, which I'm going to have to draw. So I'm going to take that up a bit there because I think it's actually a bit further up. And here it's actually wider as well because there's this sort of section. Okay, so... Okay, so that'll do. Right, okay, so then I've got this sort of funny little shape here in the middle, and I'm quite happy with that as an outline. Okay, so what I'm now going to do is I'm going to go over this in pen. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go over this, but I will speed the film up so that you can, you don't have to listen to me talking. Okay, right, so that's my outline, which I'm quite happy with. Right, the next thing is I will need to get these lines. So if I look at my actual photo, if you zoom in, I don't know if you can you see those lines? Now there are loads of them, so I'm definitely not going to be drawing each of them individually. So what you might notice though is, can you see how they radiate out from the middle? So can you see they sort of come out almost like the way that a clock hands comes out from the middle? So we need to get that idea of that with the mushroom. So the way I would actually tackle this would be, I would start off by doing, and the lines aren't perfectly straight either, they're all actually quite wobbly. They're like that. So what I would start off by doing is just by separating them, sort of like doing this in sections so that I know that I'm going to be getting all of my lines in the right direction. So what I'm going to do is that, and then I'm going to stop talking and speed it up so that you can see me adding all the other bits. Now, before I start, actually, if you haven't got a pen like this is a handwriting pen. Any black pen will do, or a blue pen, it doesn't matter. You can do these with one of these pens as well. It's absolutely fine. Like that. Okay, it doesn't make any difference. So whatever you've got. Okay, so I've just finished off doing all the lines. That's the biggest bit of detail. Now there are some other little lines here that I need to put in, but they're not as dark as the other ones. So what I might actually do is I might do them in pencil. They're actually a little bit lighter, if you can see. It's these lines here. Let me get them on my iPad, I'll show you. Right, so I've done my big dark lines, but if you can see these ones here as well, but they're not actually as dark, are they? So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to do these using my pencil, and it's the same thing. So again, they do radiate out in the same way, and it's the same idea of the random lines like that. Okay, now I don't know if you can see, but this section here, this bit here is in shadow, this little bit here, and it's lighter. It's dark there, light there, darker there. So what you can do if you're using a pen is you can actually use dots. Works well to create that idea of tone. And with something like this is very labour intensive, people. This takes ages to do. But if you put your dots close together, I hope you can see that it's creating a sort of shadow effect. And then so here, what I could do, in fact, I'm going to do dots as well there. If I just make all of this area all dots. Now you do need one of these pens to do dots, because if you try and do dots with one of these pens, it doesn't really work very well. So if you haven't got one of these pens, you won't be able to. You should maybe just use a pencil and shade it. Okay, so where it's darker, and it's darker on this side, you're going to want to put loads more dots. And then you just spread them out where it's lighter. So it's a suggestion of a shadow. So I would be doing a little bit more there. And I'll probably do a few little lines here, because I can see some lines that radiate out as well. Sort of like that. But I'm not pressing really hard. I'm actually, instead of doing that, I'm doing that. I don't know if you can see the difference. So it's a lighter line. So what I'll do is I'll just do a few lines just to show you this section. Okay, this is all darker as well. Yeah, I'm just going to do some lighter lines, actually, not in pencil, just to get that idea of it being, and maybe put some dots out there. Okay, so this week's task is a close-up view in pen of an interesting fruit or vegetable. You choose the fruit or vegetable. Clearly a potato is not as interesting looking, and it's going to be quite hard to get any detail out of it. So I would avoid anything like that. But anything that you find interesting that you think can have a go at drawing, do. Now, we are going to be coming back to this pen technique later on in the term. So it'd be good if you had a go at it. And later on, we're going to be using all of the images that you've made, all of the flower and the fruit and vegetable drawings, and we're going to be putting those together into a final piece. So you need to keep everything safe. Okay, I think I'm quite happy. Obviously I would carry on putting some little lines on that, but I'm more than happy with that, how it's coming along. Right, okay, so I want you to have a go at that this week and then upload what you've got and let's have a look. Go a bit darker there actually. There we go. Right, okay, so yep, I look forward to seeing what you do. Okay, everyone, good luck with this and I'll see you next time.